I hate the way they look since like Gen 4, but that's just me. Punk the God. I see us back up and live.
I was gonna say I have started the stream back up.
Alrighty then, thanks peeps for sticking around with us. I guess we're going right back into it. We were speaking about the 9th generation of Pokemon. I think Black Guy was taking us away with that.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like it's gonna be, you know, a bit of a mix between Pokemon Arceus and their standing with like Sword and Shield, how they're gonna be moving forward. They've come out and stated this is gonna be the first open world Pokemon game, which is already pretty big news in and of itself. So I mean, I hope they really just give the people what they want, which is, you know, the ability to catch Pokemon and explore different terrains. This still isn't the game that people really want, though. Like, people, like, you're talking about from old school fans and new school fans across the board, what the people really want is just to have Pokemon online with all my friends, and we can travel between every single previous region that we've ever done. But for what it's worth, I'm sure it'll be a good time.
People are ready for Pokemon MMO. But Will, you got any thoughts, opinions, comments?
So yeah, I actually gotta say I'm a little bit surprised. I was not expecting it to, and I was kind of expecting to kind of go the old route, you know, at you enter battle scene. This definitely feels like it's gonna go the more route of Arcanius. Arcanium? Arceus, thank you. Arceus. This looks like it's gonna go visually and like feel more of the route of Arceus, which I think is great, because I was actually kind of thinking to myself before I even like saw what was happening, oh god, how little do I care about another, like, you know, Game Boy era style looking Pokemon. But no, this actually looks pretty good.
Actually, our secret tunnel didn't work.
Is Blurp not working? Do we have Blurp on this page?
Yeah, usually it works all the time.
I was gonna say it's been working.
Where's my secret tunnel? Alright, but as Will figures that out, I'm just gonna give my thoughts and opinions, which is, one, I do have to agree with Kai. Like, people are definitely ready for Pokemon MMO, especially with how close Temtem is with release and how close Dokkaev is about to come out. Like, people are really, really prepared for Pokemon MMO. And I mean, I guess this would be their first open world entry, seeing as Arceus isn't like a mainline like Pokemon entry, like when I say mainline, you know, like red, blue, yellow, silver, like any of those mainline entries, like those are the Pokemon games. And of the Pokemon games, Violet and what is this? Violet and Purple?
Scarlet.
Violet and Scarlet are like open world, which I think is cool, but there's a lot of questions that come in, and it's like, is this gonna follow like the average open world format, and like, you know, you have a beginning and an end, everything is still linear, like that type of thing, or are they gonna be introducing like some of the more modern ways that open worlds are done, which is like you're able to take it at your own pace? Like, are they gonna give you a starter and be like, go to any gym anywhere and start your journey, or are they just gonna be like, yeah, you gotta go here, then here, then here? Like,
I mean, I think open world is probably going to be like the most literal. Like, it's just going to be like, it's an open world. I don't think Pokemon is going like the full route of like, oh, you can do it in like any order that you want to, and whatever the case may be. I think it's still going to have like kind of more of a set order, but it's going to kind of Breath of the Wild it, where it's like, well, you can try other gyms if you want to, if you can make it there. So technically, if you really think about it, technically, the original Game Boy Pokemons were more like an open world. You really didn't have like levels or anything like that. I think people kind of forget that you could go, if you could get there, or you could maneuver around certain things, you could go anywhere in Pokemon from the very start. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, you know, Pokemon is linear, but not as linear as people think it is.
Yeah, so I think I'm trying to figure out what they, besides for, okay, everything's on one big open sandbox map, what does that mean for the story of Pokemon, the gyms, Like, how are you going to move forward and progress through the game? Because they've always used kind of the confines of the games to block things off. Like, you needed to know certain moves to get to certain places. You needed to do certain tasks in order to unlock certain areas. Is it going to be similar, or is just everything just going to be like, hey man, look, if you can dream it, you can achieve it?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't know. I hope that these two main entries don't fall victim to like Ubisoft open world games where it's just like a bunch of stuff in the world to do that just gets so boring and repetitive that it's not worth it. I mean, I don't know. It's like,
what would that look like though? Like, what do you imagine? Like, do you have it like a like idea of what you're afraid of that looking like that you don't see?
Like, I just don't want it to be like boring. It's like, I don't want this to just be open world Pokemon. Like, so what I mean, like, great. I love playing Pokemon games. They're fun or whatever, but I feel like they haven't really done anything new in a number of years. Like, sure, they've brought in raid battles and horde battles and all that type of stuff, but to me, that's like, that's just fighting more Pokemon.
Okay.
Taz, what's good? But, like, what I'm afraid of is this just being that, like just being Pokemon in an open world. Like everything is the same about Pokemon, it's just an open world now. Like that's boring. That's like you didn't do anything to spice up this formula. You just said, why not make Pokemon an open world now? And that's all you did. Like you didn't give me like different things that I could possibly do in the Pokemon world. Like you didn't make it so like, yeah, I can go straight to the last boss of Pokemon or the last gym leader that you'd fight before you'd get accepted to go to the Pokemon League or whatever. Like, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to be like, all right, great. I want to be able to build my Pokemon up from the beginning without having to go take on the first gym. Like, if I wanted to get to 99, like before I take on my first gym, I want to be able to do that, but not in the grindy, repetitive way that you usually do it in a Pokemon game, where it'd be like, well, I'm gonna sit in the first field and just walk in a circle and get XP. Like, I would love to see Pokemon actually out there traveling, doing things. What it looks like it is, but I would love to see like interactions and all that. I want to see some level and care of detail. I don't want an open world to just be there to just be there. Like,
yeah, it's like the linearity of it all. Like, I think like I would rather see a more linear game if it meant like the story was going to be increased a lot with just kind of open world aspect. That's fine. Or I would like to see them really like expand on the idea of what an open world game is going to look like. I think the big problem though is I don't trust them to really do this justice. As great as people talk about Pokemon Arceus being, that is one of the most god awful stories I've ever played in my life, and it doesn't make sense that they spent so much time on dialogue in order for it to be like, go here, do this, I am good, you are bad crap. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to hate on nobody for no particular reason, but the story sucks. And so I'm hoping that they at least touch that shit up a little bit and not just kind of double down on the openness effect.
Yes, Willie, you are right. It's still a better story than Lost Ark. But,
I don't know, man. That Pokemon might take the cake.
Listen, Lost Ark, you literally ignore the story. So
yeah, Lost Ark, you don't want to watch the story.
I tried voice acting the Pokemon story. I tried giving everybody unique, different character voices, and I got about like an episode in, and I was just like, I'm not doing this shit no more. These characters are boring.
These characters are boring.
It was like, I can't make I'm going to the store in a crazy voice, you know, a million times over. I'm going to go down to the mall today. Well, good for you, Philip. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Why are you so mad at Philip? Oh, Philip.
Yeah, I gotta ask, what did Philip do to you?
Philip ain't want no problems.
Philip
bored me. Okay, that's the problem.
No, I can fully respect that. The one thing I'm curious about, actually looking from the game's visuals, like especially in the land, is that people, the visuals really divided people on the last one, and Does it look better? Does it look worse? Like
It looks like the same. It just looks
Yeah,
like.
it looks exactly the same.
Like,
so.
I didn't have a problem.
Is there a question to okay, so for the people that did and you think that they would have the same problem with this game, and if so, is that something that's a hardware like limitation, or
Yes,
the devs are
100%.
just not interested? Okay.
No, it's the hardware. The Switch, bro, come on. Y'all not gonna sit here and knock me on this one. The Switch, literally, I don't think can.
Well, no, but I mean,
I don't think they can make a better looking game. I mean, I think the best looking game I've ever seen on the Switch has been Breath of the Wild, and that's just me personally. Besides, like
Mario
somebody-
right, but so
Odyssey,
that's what
yeah,
I'm
that was
saying
really
though,
good.
is that like,
Mario Odyssey
is there
is
not
really
a
easy.
or New World?
But New World doesn't run on.
No, it's talking about the story.
New World story is ass too. Trust me.
Oh yeah. Well, so, but like in the exact same way though, that like, you know, they did make Odyssey look really good, and Odyssey did look good.
It looked fantastic.
And yeah, I mean, I think even Breath of the Wild looks good, and I'm playing it years after it was released. And I'm playing the first one years after it was. I still think that they did a good job on it, but there's a very specific reason it did well, which is because using the limitations and knowing what they couldn't get away with, they built the visual experience around that. Versus in here, they're like, I don't know if they're trying too much, or they're just not like kind of like creatively playing what they can get away with. But
I think the big problem with Pokemon is that there is a lot to focus on in the games in terms of the actual Pokemon versus the characters versus the world. Like, you're talking about Pokemon Arceus had 283 Pokemon in it that had to be rendered and tossed out into the wild in specific areas. That's a lot of, that's a lot of animation to do, especially for like, you can't.
well, so
slack
then
off
that
on any of
does
these
sort of
Pokemon.
speak to the hardware issue.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know many games period that have that many well fleshed out models of everything being in multiple positions like that on any platform. Like,
What?
Pokemon's got no. I'm saying, when you talk about having this plethora of Pokemon fully rendered.
But you're just,
Cyberpunk.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say
Cyberpunk's
Cyberpunk.
out there,
Literally any
Shit.
other open world PC, New World itself, Outer Worlds. I mean, like,
Yeah.
No, there's a fundamental difference between making like fodder enemies and blank NPCs versus making which any Pokemon could possibly be like the main character of the game. There's a huge difference in how you would animate those two things.
Well, then I would say Elden Ring for that purpose. Then.
okay, yeah, then Elden Ring.
Because,
still-
like, all those things have to stay. Everything that happens in Elden Ring. has to
Kai,
stay
I mean,
active.
I understand what you're getting at, but I like the notion that like there's nobody else. I mean, that's like.
Well, but
it's
he's
not-
right when he's talking about Nintendo though. Like, if you
No,
focus
in
the
the
lens
world of
on just
Nintendo, yeah, okay,
then
fine.
yeah, like Nintendo doesn't have a lot of games where it pushes the envelope like this, or even they even try to, you know. And even though we're giving examples, let's not like sit here and act like those games don't have performance issues themselves. I mean, like,
Oh, sure.
both Cyberpunk and Elden Ring suffer from FPS drop. I think any game is gonna be like perfect. It's just. I don't know.
No.
personally don't
Okay,
think
so
the
let me
Switch is strong enough.
clarify my position. I'm not suggesting that games that do accomplish like this in that capacity are perfect. They're far from it. There is no getting around the fact that having that many animations, scripts, just like events, everything running at once, that requires a lot of beefy hardware.
Yeah, but I'm not talking
But
about
wait,
the amount of things on screen.
hold on. But what I am saying though is that the hardware capabilities of it, a PC is definitely going to have a better chance of rendering all of that kind of thing at once than the Switch is. It is just kind of the fact of, like, there's just kind of no getting around that.
But the problem that people had with it wasn't necessarily the fact of what it could or couldn't render. It was the design, was what we were talking about initially.
Yeah,
So,
some of the
like-
Pokemon designs just suck. I don't know why they did that to Dialga. Or was it? Was that Pokemon?
Both of them actually kind of were trash. Like that's what the initial comment was on, was based on the design of the game itself. Yeah, the game actually, as far as how the game looked from an overall perspective, it didn't look that bad. It was the design of the Pokemon people were really irked about.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. The art choice was weird to me. It's like, this definitely doesn't look like how Pokemon usually look. I mean, some of them look like absolutely fine and really good, but others just look like, why did you make these like weird small changes? Like, yeah,
But
Why have
it was
you done this, precious Pokemon?
Yeah, certain Pokemon that needed to be redone weren't redone. Certain Pokemon that didn't need to change at all got changes. It was like, bro, like, did we need a Ghost Typhlosion? Like,
yo, that's what I was thinking. I was like, why y'all do this to Typhlosion? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna
Pokemon
lie. And now we hear the notification for it. That's wonderful.